Welcome to Comics League Indie Wednesday. I'm Jared. Excuse me. And before I get into the book, I just want to say we passed 200 subscribers in record time for this channel. So I just want to say thank you guys for subscribing. I can't wait to bring you guys more content. It really feels good to see this channel start actually growing and gaining momentum now. So anyway, we're going to talk about Power Rangers Soul of the Dragon. It's Morphin time. So this was a little present from Lad. Appreciate it, buddy. And it's written by Kyle Higgins with art by Giuseppe Cafaro. If I mispronounce your name, I apologize, brother. So this is the story. So this sort of takes place after Mighty Morphin. It's following the story of Tommy Oliver, one of the greatest Rangers there ever was. And so it takes place around the time of the SPD timeline. In fact, I believe, it's like, I would say like after SPD, I think, because Sky is a Ranger Command or something like that. So story starts off. So Tommy Oliver is now a high school teacher. And they're just reflecting. He's hanging out with the Turbo Pink Ranger. Forget her name. Jeez. Let me check real quick what her name is. Yeah, I don't. All right. Well, anyway, drop in the comments who the Turbo Pink Ranger is. So he's hanging out with her and they're talking about he feels old, but he also kind of doesn't feel like they made an impact as Rangers because they still have security checkpoints, they still have SPD, and world's not any more safe. So Tommy goes to the doctor's office to get his, so he has a spine implant because his back was damaged in combat, and they show it here. Or the art by Cafaro is amazing. Cafaro is a fantastic artist, but it's by Boom Studios. So they basically tell him to take it easy and all that. So Tommy's son JJ is an SPD agent, and he's going out to I believe on a mission or something like that. And Tommy has the Master Morpher, which sorry, those that don't know, the Master Morpher is this morpher that allows you to switch between all these different eras of Rangers. So he can change from Dino Thunder to Turbo to Zeo. It doesn't matter. So he can. So he's got that. He and his son, it's kind of tense between him and his son. And then JJ's kidnapped, and Tommy's getting out of Whole Foods. It's pretty much Whole Foods. I'm going to call it Whole Foods, okay? And he meets Anara, who's JJ's friend, and she tells her that JJ's missing. She gives him the phone number to call her and say, "Go call me when you have information." So Tommy goes to SPD headquarters and meets Sky. For those that don't know, Sky was the SPD Blue Ranger. He's apparently become one of the SPD leadership, if not higher. And what's interesting is that apparently it's revealed. I mean, Sky won't give Tommy any information on what happened to JJ because it's classified. Nice to know that even in fictional universes, everyone's crazy about classified information. So Tommy decides, okay, I got to go find my son myself. And he takes the Master Morpher. But the thing about it is that it's damaged. So he can only stay in certain Ranger forms for a certain amount of time. And then what's interesting about it is that after he uses that coin, he can't use it again, meaning it would be his last time turning into Turbo or Dino Thunder and such. So Tommy goes into this bar, Star Wars style, and then gets into a bar fight, as usual. It's kind of like the scene in Star Wars where he goes, "My friend doesn't like you. I don't like you either." It's kind of that. They fight him, and then he goes full Dino Thunder, which is the Brachiosaur Ranger, the black one, and then completely annihilates them because he's Tommy Oliver, the greatest of the Rangers. And then he goes, and then he depowers afterwards, and he meets up with Anara. So yes, It's again backed up that once you use the coin, so in other words, he can't go Dino Thunder again because he's used it up. So they follow JJ's group to this abandoned factory, and it turns out that from what they could see, JJ's working with the bad guys. And JJ morphs into this greenish ranger. Then Tommy goes full turbo, shift into turbo. I will say even though the show wasn't really that good, the turbo suit actually looks really cool. And then he shows up and fights him, and I think he has super speed like the Flash, which makes sense considering he's turbo. He fights JJ, and JJ escapes, and Tommy's back thing is like injured, so Inara helps to go repair it. And then then Tommy takes her to a friend of his named Finster. He apparently worked with them back when Tommy was a ranger. He's like a sculptor, and he knows about all these evil guys. So Tommy goes Zeo, and then completely again, and then fights bad guys. I think he can stay Zeo longer or something like that, or Zeo is the most powerful. Then it's revealed that JJ is not bad; he's just undercover, and they may have just blown his cover. Then they run into, and this is a funny story. So they run into Scorpina, and here's how I know it's a funny story. I forgot what Scorpina looked like, so when I saw this, I'm like, what is Wonder Woman doing here? Because she kind of resembles Wonder Woman a little bit. You look at it, particularly in some of the later panels. I'll hold it up to the camera when I get to that part so you can see that. So anyway, moving on. So they still fight, and then yeah, so kind of like that. That's the Scorpina thing that I'm looking at. And then Finster dies, but not before he tells them where Scorpina took JJ. And then Scorpina tells the story that she was like banished by Rita Repulsa to another dimension. She found Lokar, who is like this ancient demonic ruler. Then she was thrown into the like the future. And this is the panel that makes her look like Wonder Woman a little bit, like right there. Kind of looks like Wonder Woman a little bit. And so she's trying to bring forth this spirit because apparently it'll give her eternal power. And then Tommy shows up in the white, the Falcon Zord costume, which looks so cool, or the White Tiger, which just looks so cool. He's got Saba there. And they fight, and it's still too much. So Scorpina turns into a giant monster. So what does he do? He throws the last power coin, the Master Morpher to JJ, and JJ goes full Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin, and then they all defeat Rita Repulsa. Not Rita Repulsa, Scorpina. She's banished to another dimension. Everyone rendezvous, and it's so cool. It's also kind of cool is that in the background of this thing, when the backup arrives, it's got like all of the Rangers from like SPD. It even has the Shadow Ranger like right there. I'm gonna try and hold that part up to the camera like right here. It's really cool how they do that. So then the bad guys have been defeated, and the families have this nice little reunion moment. And then weeks later, Tommy and I still can't believe I don't remember the Pink Ranger's name from Turbo, but they go off into the sunset while JJ and Inara return to SPD, and then JJ turns into a really cool version of the SPD Green Ranger with the golden collar. So that's Power Rangers Soul the Dragon, and I get the feeling I understand why it's called Soul the Dragon, because Tommy's the Dragon Zord Ranger. And what's really cool about this storyline is that, and Lad brought this up to me when he got the comic for me, is that the Power Rangers comics are much more serious and mature. than the shows are. But that's obvious because the shows are sort of made more for for kids. But I mean, kids can still read these and still be fine. But this was a little more serious than like the over the top villains that have horrible acting, and I guess the bad CGI doesn't exactly affect because it's just what can the dude draw. And one of the things I like about this is that it's a story focused on one of my favorite characters in Power Rangers, Tommy Oliver. And what's cool about him is that he transcends the show. Like, I think he has, for the most part, shown up in like most seasons have a cameo by him. I mean, he was in every season up to Dino Thunder, and then Dino Thunder, he did like he made his students watch a video of him. Here's me as a ranger. And then he showed up in like a few other seasons. He showed up in the travesty that was Megaforce, which was kind of boring. Not the cameo, the Megaforce show. Then he showed up in Samurai and Ninja, which I thought that was pretty dope. So yeah, but going back to this, I like how it follows up with a lot of characters like Scorpina, Rita Repulsa. Okay, I have to look this up. Who was the name? What's the name of the Pink Turbo Ranger? I have to figure this out. Okay, Catherine Hillard. So I believe that's her. But she did cameos in Ninja too. So okay, so it's him and Catherine. But I also really enjoyed having like Tommy have that conversation where did we really make an effect as Rangers? Because the world's still dangerous. So did we really do anything? And then what Catherine brings up is, well, during our tenure as Rangers, the world didn't blow up. So there's that. So pretty much she's like, yeah, it was worth it because people were safe when we were Rangers. So I like the hero going through that whole little sort of self-doubt. I also liked how throughout the storyline, it's kind of a nod to the different Ranger eras in that he has the Master Morpher and he goes through each era. And it's also kind of cool where he has to use it at the right moment, because if he wastes a power coin, he's not getting that coin back. So I definitely like how this book establishes stakes. And once again, like I mentioned before, the art in this is completely unreal. Like, it's ridiculously good. Oh, and by the way, here's the picture of Scorpina that made me really think she was Wonder Woman, because she kind of does. So it's obvious they were heavily inspired by Wonder Woman for Scorpina. But anyway, I also like it. So it was apparently made with Jason David Frank as a consultant. So it feels like it because he's the dude that played Tommy. And once again, I like how he's going around seeing the world after he became a Ranger. And I like how at the end of it, his son becomes the SPD Green Ranger with the Mighty Morphin collar from the Green Ranger. So it's kind of a way of establishing the family legacy. So there's so much to like about this book. I could go on for longer, but I'm just going to call it there. And yeah, it's a good place to leave it. That's going to be this Indie Wednesday. Next week, we're going to talk about Black Powder, Red Earth. I wanted to talk about Power Rangers now because I figured this would be give yourself a little palate cleanser from the blood and gore from Berserker. But super cool book. I would highly recommend it. Once again, it's called Power Rangers Soul of the Dragon by Boom Studios, because Boom does a lot of the Power Rangers comics. And once again, let me know if there's any other indie books that you would like to see on the show, and I will bring it on. And I will see you in the next video. Stay heroic, everyone. Bye-bye.